Hello and welcome back to the channel, or if you're new here, then hello. My name is Kara, and today I'm going to do a long overdue surgery update. So to get to today, I got to transport back in time. So August of 2019, I underwent gastric bypass surgery, and in that process, I lost about 120 pounds. Eventually, I did regain about 15 to 20 pounds after that. I have a whole video on weight regain after bypass surgery, and I will put it up. I don't know what side it goes on. You'll see it up on the screen if you're interested. So I lost a significant amount of weight, and with that comes a lot of loose skin. So I'm going to sort of stand off to the side here so that I can put some pictures up, just so that you can see sort of what the journey of my body has been. Ultimately, in September of 2022, I underwent a breast reduction, something called a panniculectomy, which is basically the removal of the excess skin on my lower abdomen. And I also had excess skin removed from this area. So it's now been almost a year and a half, and I figured that I would do an update. Before we get into sort of what my body looks like now, oh, there goes, oh no, we're just getting comfy. Okay. I just want to get into some of the questions that I get all the time about these surgeries. So first of all, gastric bypass surgery. I live in Ontario in Canada, and it was covered by our provincial government. So I didn't have to pay out of pocket for that. There is a whole referral system for that. So basically, I was referred from my family doctor to an endocrinologist because I had developed type 2 diabetes. So I was under his care. He referred me to the bariatric program. They approved me because I did have the comorbidities, and I did not pay out of pocket for anything except for the 3 weeks of liquid shakes that I had to take before the surgery. Then for the breast reduction, I also had that covered through our provincial funding program. It's called OHIP if you're not from Ontario. So again, there were certain criteria that had to be met. Basically, the issues that I had chronic neck and back pain. I had chronic skin inflammation because of how large my breasts were. At my highest, I was about an H moving into an I cup. And as well, I also had just a lot of breast tissue. So there is a certain measurement that you have to reach in order for it to be covered as well. And I certainly exceeded that. So the breast reduction was covered. My panniculectomy was not covered, although some people can get that covered through OHIP. Again, there is a certain measurement that excess skin has to hang down a certain amount over the pubic bone. Mine wasn't quite that bad, so I did have to pay for that out of pocket. As well, I had to pay for the skin removal that occurred behind my arms. All in all, if I remember completely, it was about $10,000-ish to $11,000 for those procedures, which I am still paying towards because I financed that. So that is sort of the nitty gritty of it. I also get the question why I chose gastric bypass over the sleeve. My doctor recommended it for me based on my health history, and that was enough for me. I know a lot of people do a lot more thorough research in terms of which weight loss surgery is best for them. I thoroughly encourage that, but I always get questions. Even now, 4 years later, I still get questions. How did you decide which one should I do? I can't answer that. I'm not a medical professional. I'm just somebody who used to weigh at my highest just shy of 330 pounds and have gone through this whole journey. And the whole point of my channel is really just to share that experience from one person's perspective. So any questions on like particular procedures that you should go through or not go through, always speak to the medical professionals about that, not somebody on the internet. Okay, so surgery. Like I said, it was September of 2022, and it was a day surgery. So they went in, they did the breast reduction and all of the skin removal all in one shot. I don't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure I was under the knife for about 4 or 5 hours, but like, don't quote me on that because I was asleep through all that. I'm going off of what my husband told me, and I can't remember. At any rate, I woke up in the recovery room instantly felt regret. I literally felt like I'd been hit by a Mack truck. Everything hurt from like here down to basically my crotchular area. Everything hurt. They kept trying to get me up to go to the bathroom because they wouldn't release me until I had peed. And every time I tried to even just sit up in the bed, I would faint, and then we would have to start the whole process all over again. The fact that it was a day surgery is wild because ultimately they took about 19 pounds off of my body in one shot and then sent me home. Also, sorry, I am gapping here. There was another part to this procedure. When my surgeon went in, well, before we had booked the surgery, during the consultation, everything, she had told me that very often, with people who have had babies, who've been pregnant, and with people who have lost an awful lot of weight, or at least have gained a lot of weight, I think is more the root cause, the abdomen, the abdominal muscles can separate. And that is what happened with me. It's called so she did find that. She did sew my abs back together, and that was atrocious. So again, I do have videos with updates from I think 1 month after surgery, maybe 2 months. I can't remember. I'll put them up for you so that you can take a look. Recovery was rough. It was by far the most painful thing I've gone through. I've had 2 C-sections. Those were a walk in the park compared to this. So they sent me home. I was 100% reliant on my husband for, I'd say, a solid 2 days after surgery. I could not get myself out of bed. I couldn't get to the bathroom unassisted. On that first day, I couldn't do anything in the bathroom unassisted. I couldn't get water. I couldn't get food. I couldn't do anything for myself. So not a very comfortable feeling to be in, just mentally. I felt very vulnerable. I don't like being a burden. I don't like not being able to do anything for myself. So even mentally that was difficult, but physically, my ass was kicked. It was brutal. I went back for a 1-week checkup and instantly just started crying. So my doctor was like, "Whoa, what is happening?" So I got more pain medication, and I also got something to help me sleep because I was not sleeping at all. Maybe at most an hour at a time. I just couldn't get comfortable. I was in so much pain, and it was just awful. So I was getting questions around that time. Was it worth it? I'm like, not right fucking now. It's not. But now it's been a year and a half. There's been the benefit of perspective. That pain, the memory of it does tend to fade. I think it's definitely worth it for me at this point, but it was freaking rough. And I just want to put that out there. The breast surgery itself never bothered me. I didn't experience any pain with that. My surgeon, however, says if I hadn't had the abs worked on, the breasts would have bothered me. But it's because the abs were taking all of my attention that I didn't really feel anything else. I'll put some pictures up here about some of the bruising and all that kind of thing if you're kind of squeamish. There's nothing too graphic, but you can skip forward a few seconds if you want. They're not going to be up forever. Anyways, I did manage to recover. I wasn't able to walk upright, I would say a good 4 to 5 weeks. I think probably closer to 5 weeks. I wasn't able to fully walk upright. Again, this was more to do with the ab surgery than with the actual skin removal. The incision for the skin removal healed really quickly. I didn't have any issues with it, no complications, no infection, no problem whatsoever. There was one little bit of what they call fat necrosis. So it was just like a little hard ball that I could feel along the scar line. And I was kind of concerned about it because I'm like, did I get a hernia? What is happening here? What's going on? My doctor assured me that that's all that it was just a little bit of fat had sort of got caught up in one of the sutures and it just hardened and that it would eventually go. She told me just lightly massage it, and I can report that within, I would say, about a month, it was completely gone. I now have some fat necrosis in my right breast. I can't really feel it when I'm just sort of poking around, but I did have a mammogram and an ultrasound done. I will get to that again, but they just wanted to rule out any potential of sort of cancer or any sort of other problematic issues. And that's when they discovered the fat necrosis. It's not a health concern. I don't have to go for monitoring for it. It'll probably resolve itself. Like I said, I can't feel it. I can't see it. I didn't know it was there. It doesn't bother me at all. But with that background out of the way, let's take a look and see how things have healed in a year and a half. All right, so I've got to do it this way just so that I can see what I'm talking about as well. Normally I would just kind of stare. So again, it looks like I'm looking at you, but that's just going to be too problematic. So here's what I look like. Now, YouTube will not allow me to flash you my boobs. Also, I don't really want to. So there's that. But let's just for a second talk about the fact this bra, like my boobs are just supported by a little tiny band of elastic. Like this is all connected here. It's from Shein, and I know everybody has feelings on Shein, but let me tell you, these little bras, this is part of their dream something. Again, memory is just shit. I've got it in white and I've got it in this color. They come in a bunch of colors and they're so freaking comfortable with like the built-in bra. Love. Anyways, not the point. Point is, I now have 40D and some bras I can actually get away with in a C cup, which is incredible considering they were an H and the H was small. And then after surgery, I got to like a double D, but they were saggy. They were not pretty. And my boobs now, again, I can't show them, but I love them. She did an incredible job. And I have to, okay, without flashing you, that is what the vertical scar looks like now, which is not bad at all. And then this is, okay, get my hand out of the way. That's the biggest scar there. And that just goes all the way up. And again, I have it on the other side as well. But that little scar underneath hardly looks bad at all. And it's the same on the other side. They're fantastic. Let me tell you, when I took the like bandaging off of my boobs, my jaw dropped. And I was like, I'm not putting a shirt on. I'm never wearing a shirt again. I love my tits. Like I love them. And I still do. Like she did a fantastic job. I love that I can wear a bra like this. I love that I can get away with just one sports bra. I love that I can now buy bras that aren't black, white, or beige, that actually have like details and designs to them. It's amazing. Most of all though, my shoulders don't hurt. My back doesn't hurt. I don't have sores under my boobs anymore. I barely even get boob sweat, which is incredible. Like I'm just so very, very happy. Now, I do plan to go back for some touch-up surgery though. Boobs are totally fine, but where she took the excess skin, you can see that scar there. So she basically just extended the breast scar and then took a bunch of skin from over here. But there is still, as you can see there, quite a bit of excess. And so as she explained it to me, because I'm on my back and because they're working on this area and this area, they can't like move me and manipulate me too much to get too far behind me during that first surgery. Again, because like everything is wide open. So some of this did not get caught. It's not a big deal. Like it doesn't bother me a lot, but there's certain bras where it cuts in and then it just kind of puffs over the top and I'm just not perfectly happy with it. So she's like, we can fix that in the office. I'm like, no, I think I'd rather be asleep for that. Thank you very much. I don't need to like smell my skin burning or anything of that sort. So we're going to do that because there's also some touch up here that needs to be done. So the panniculectomy, I made the mistake of wearing black with a dark background. Now you can see the contrast. I still have the world's flattest ass, but now I've also got a fairly flat stomach. I don't have the spare tire anymore, which is awesome. So I will show you the scar because it's pretty significant, but it doesn't really bother me. Like it starts way back here, tracks, goes underneath, and then ends over here. Very, very big, but like I said, I never had any infection. I never had any issues with it. It's unsightly, but like I don't wear super low-rise pants, so nobody ever sees it, and it doesn't bother me at all. I genuinely don't care about my scar. But this right here, this again is just excess skin. So even if I lose weight, like it's just gonna get floppier. And same with this. This one's not nearly as obvious on this side, but she's like, I could do it in office, but you're not going to like me if I do. And I'm like, you're already on thin ice after what you did to my abs. So I want to continue liking you because I really do like my surgeon. So we're just going to do it all in one shot. Now, the stomach, you can't see where she fixed the abs because obviously that was internal, but like I have an ab line that's just mind-blowing. Like I'm not ripped by any shot, but I also don't do sit-ups. Like I don't do anything to try to like help that along. I run and I do physio and I swim, but I don't actually do like dedicated core workouts. I probably should, but I don't. So the fact that like that's my physique, that's just surgery, baby. That's all surgery. I'll wear it proudly. I love it. But I know it's all surgery. So I want you to know that it's all surgery. This is not coming from within. This is just the modern wonders of science. Now, future surgeries, like I said, we're going to do the touch up here and the touch up back here. I could potentially have an arm lift done to get rid of that little bit of excess skin, but it doesn't really bother me. Like when my arms are down, I don't feel like I have super beefy arms. Like they don't bother me. They don't at all. So I don't want to go down the road of a surgery that I just don't really care about. Also, I have never really done any super dedicated arm workouts. So there's a chance if I did, some of that would tighten up. So we're fine. Now, thighs. This is what I most definitely want to have done is a thigh lift. So again, I wore black. I didn't think this through. Just give me 1 second and I will show you what we got going on down there. I don't know when dropping trow on the internet became part of my life, but here we are. So again, a lot of this is just excess skin. It's not fat, so it's not a matter of losing weight. This is just leftover from having giant thighs when I oh, I love my life. Anyways, like there is a ton of muscle under here, like from running and everything. You can see that's not surgical. That is hard work and dedication. I can't do anything about this, and it drives me to absolute distraction. I get a lot of skin issues up in the groin area, like especially all along here. I get a lot of skin issues. There's a lot of heat trapped here, a lot of friction caused by this excess skin. And I just don't like it. Like it makes me self-conscious, this little fold, this little, like my front bum, basically. Like it kind of looks like I have an ass attached to the front of my legs, and I don't like that. So that is in the works. It's not scheduled because it's expensive. That will not be covered by OHIP, so I have to pay for that myself. And it's about $10,000. So it's in the works, but it's not going to happen anytime soon. Let me pull my pants up. There we have it. There is the update. I don't have any long-term major complications. The only two that have happened, one, I still am numb in my stomach, so I can't really feel from here down to, I'd say about here, to about the Scarline. This is all numb. So it's a very strange sensation, especially when I'm like lying on my stomach because I can't feel like the sheets underneath me. I've gotten used to it at this point because it's a like 24/7 all day occurrence. It doesn't bother me, but I don't love it. I would love for the sensation to come back, but it hasn't. And if that's the worst complication I have, then I'm not really all that fussed about it. There's nothing I can do about it anyways. So it is what it is. I knew that that was a risk. I was willing to take that risk and it came to fruition. But again, it's pretty minor in the grand scheme of things. My breasts, I was also cautioned that I could lose sensation, particularly in the nipples. And because they had to remove them entirely, there was always sort of the chance that they would literally die. Thankfully, that didn't happen. I was at an elevated risk of that happening on the left side because my left breast was bigger than my right, and because of the structure and how far it hung down and all. Like I'm not a doctor. I don't know. She explained all this to me, but like it petered out. So at any rate, that one was at a slightly higher risk. I do still have some sensation in it. It's not as much as on the right-hand side. Also, the left nipple is now an innie. It will come out, but it likes to just sort of hide in on itself. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't bother me. My surgeon's not concerned about it. It's just there's some scar tissue back there that is kind of just pulling the nipple in. That was why I ended up having the ultrasound and the mammogram, was because it was different than what it was prior to surgery. My surgeon just wanted to make sure that there wasn't any underlying cause for it other than the surgery, and it is scar tissue. I talked to her about potentially correcting it because I'm not in love with it. Like, I'm not. It's nobody sees them except me and my husband, but I'm not in love with it. But she explained to me what the corrective surgery is, and I was like, yeah, I'm fine. So basically, like, she'd have to go in, they have to like insert like a little top hat kind of thing so that there's like a barrier so the scar tissue can't attach again, and then it like heals in stages. And I was like, you know what, that sounds horrific. Hard pass. I'm fine. So like when she assessed it, she was like, you know, it's not completely in 100% of the time. It's not super deep in, like the whole nipple area itself isn't inverting. It's just a little pointy outy part. Doesn't really point out unless I make it point out. We're getting a little too detailed about my nips. But anyways, I just want to put it out there that it happened. That was one of the risks. It came again to fruition, but again, it's fairly minor in the grand scheme. Like I said, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't cause any issues whatsoever. So whatever, it's not a big deal. Those are the only side effects that I have faced. So now that there's no pain at all, and there hasn't been for well over a year since I've healed from that surgery, I can say full-heartedly with my whole chest, it was absolutely worth it for me. I cannot make that decision for you. All I can do is share what my experience was. And so there were certainly some highs, certainly some lows, but overall, I am so grateful that I had the opportunity to do it. I am so grateful for the medical coverage that our province provides, despite their best efforts to scale it back. But that is a topic for another channel. I'm not even touching that with a 10-foot pole. Anyways, I'm very, very grateful. It was never like when I went into gastric bypass, when I went into this surgery, it was never about having a quote unquote perfect body. That is not what I'm aiming for. I'm not aiming to be a size 2. I'm not aiming to have like 10% body fat. Like that's not my goal. I don't have goals in mind on size or shape or weight. I don't associate those numbers anymore with goals for my body. I spent many, many, many years doing that, and I know there are a ton of people that do that. I wish I could spare everybody from that. Truly, I wish that I could. Especially the number on the scale. It, honest to God, does not mean anything, really. It doesn't. And if it goes up a pound or down a pound, like, I gave way too much power to the scale. I do still weigh myself just to keep an eye on the metrics and just as a data reference. It's not, I no longer give the scale the power to control my mood or to set the tone for my entire day, because it used to have that power. I also used to weigh myself multiple times a day. It was obsessive. And if that scale didn't go down, then it was cause for me to give up. If the scale went up, it was cause for me to give up. If it went down, it never went down enough. And so I'm so grateful to be released from that. And I wish I could tell you how it happened. It wasn't an instant thing. It's something that's developed over the last 4 years. And it's just, I'm so grateful. More than anything, I'm so grateful for that freedom, because I don't wake up thinking about food. I don't wake up thinking about my weight. I can step on the scale, see that it's gone up a couple pounds and be like, okay, I'm within my healthy range. I'm fine. And that's it. Like, it's just a data point to me. It's just one more piece of information about my body. Frankly, I spend more time on my Garmin app looking at what my heart rate is and what my stress level and how my sleep score is. That's the stuff that I am more interested in than a number on a scale, which really just shows the function of gravity versus mass. It has nothing to do with my value as a human. So with all of that said, I will wrap it up here. I just wanted to share how surgery has treated me after 1.5 years of healing, and I am just so happy with the results. Again, there are some touch-up areas, so I'm not perfectly satisfied with it, but we are getting there. But if it never happens, that's okay too, because I am far healthier than I was. No longer have sleep apnea, no longer have type 2 diabetes. My blood pressure, if anything, is a little bit on the low side. Pulse rate is everything is chugging along as it should be. I'm as healthy as I've ever been, more so. My fitness is far beyond what it was even in high school. I'm just happy with where I'm at right now, and I just wanted to share that. So Thank you for coming along on the journey. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.